My name is Rihanna Hine, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about my life. What's gluten? Now, I know that doesn't sound like my life, but it has become my life. A lot of people hear that question, and I know you can't answer it. I'm going to tell you what gluten is. According to the Celiac Disease Foundation, a foundation that's dedicated toward improving the lives of those with celiac disease, I'll tell you what that is in a little bit. Gluten is the general protein that's found in wheat, rye, and barley. Gluten is basically glue for food. It shapes food, holds it together. It's a bonding agent. To me, gluten is something that ruined my life. Okay, that's an exaggeration. Didn't ruin my life. About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with celiac disease. My doctor told me that I couldn't have pasta, couldn't have bread, couldn't have cinnamon rolls, and I definitely could not have Hostess. That means no more Twinkies. It was a hard transition to make, but it was worth it. So, what's celiac disease? Celiac disease, according to John Sylvester, who's a dietitian in New York, he says that celiac disease is an autoimmune disorder where if you're genetically predisposed to it, the ingestion of gluten can lead to the damage of the small intestines. Sylvester estimates that celiac disease affects 1 in 100 people worldwide. Now, in the United States, there's 2.5 million people that are undiagnosed. After I cut gluten out of my diet, not only did my diet change, but kind of my mindset on food changed. I've done extensive research on gluten, along with celiac disease. In the past, in the present, for this presentation, I found that 34% of the United States population, they participate in the gluten-free diet. I'm part of that 34%. What? So, Haskova Pavla and Dean Selkova, they're researchers for the Global Emirates. They did a study on how food choices have tremendously diminished for those with gluten intolerance and celiac disease. Gluten intolerance is just a less intense form of celiac disease. They found that 73% of all foods have come in contact with gluten, whether that be in transportation, in the making of it, which means that can also be inside the food. It's come in contact. That leaves 27% of all foods that I get to eat worldwide. Not only are consumer options limited for those with celiacs, but, hormones and behaviors can also change. Sylvester also did another article about how he and 3 researchers did the article. They conducted a survey on how gluten intolerance and celiac disease affects the quality of life from those who suffer with celiac disease. Their questionnaire was among 222 people, odd number, but they found that 56% of those people had a strict adherence to that diet, and that 44% were more likely to intentionally cheat on that diet and just eat gluten. So they were in a lot of pain. That's their choice. In his questionnaire, he asked about their behaviors, how often they went to the supermarket, how often they went to fresh food markets, grocery stores, where they shopped. The 56% were found to stay in the fresh foods aisle, where, you find the vegetables, the carrots, all of that. They were also less happy when they were shopping. Their mood dropped because of the stress that they had when having to make this decision about what they were going to eat. So the survey covered how often people eat out as well. Out of the 222 subjects, 33% ate out once a week, 42% ate out once a month, and 25% ate out once or twice a year. That's a year. Kind of crazy. I really only eat out once or twice a year because of my disease, but I'll get over it. So I hope you feel a little bit more informed about gluten intolerance, celiac disease, and thank you for watching.